All right, good morning, everyone. I have no idea if this is going to work. I mean, it should work, but I want to try to build an MCP server that runs on the ESP32. Now, this is not an original idea that I magically came up with that nobody else has thought of. When it occurred to me, I Googled it, and there's a bunch of examples of people running MCP servers on the ESP32. But I wanted to take a little bit of a different approach. People using different libraries, Platform IO and Arduino, and nobody, at least in a brief search, nobody had really created one for ESP although you can port some of those other things, and I've done videos on that. But I wanted to combine it, like, I don't know, maybe make it super meta and have the AI build more AI and just see just see how it goes. Anyway, the impetus for all of this is this announcement by Espressive a couple weeks ago introducing the private AI agents platform. I was all set to do a video today on getting this set up. You can see they've where is it down here? These are the things that they supported on. Actually bought the ESP, what is it, S3 box. Let's open this guy up. We'll do a video and play with this eventually. But I was going to go through this video and try to create an AI agent. They say you can host it in AWS, but it is surprisingly lacking on details, and it's been like a month. So you can get into this agents thing, and I mean, it's really just an AI agent manager, which I don't really get as anything special yet. I might be missing something. That's totally possible. But when you click on the repository for all of this, nope, not that. Anyway, the repository that I found for this has no code, and it's like code coming soon, and it's been like a month. And so I don't know when this code is coming that you can create these local tools and just look under the hood of how this is all working. Yeah, here it is. Sorry, man, I don't know why I'm just scrolling around. This repository contains the firmware SDK and examples that implement the device-side features for communicating with these agents. So you'd think, oh, this is how I create new tools. And then the very next sentence, the firmware SDK and examples will be coming soon. And you can see last month was the last time that this was updated. And so I assume that this will be an MCP server essentially implementation, and maybe they're working on a standard out of the box component, which would be smart for Espressive to do, that creates an MCP server that you can run on the ESP32 so that it basically becomes a device that's known to AI agents and can perform tasks for you. Now, why are we talking about this on production ESP32? The first thought that came to my mind, although it's not the only use case for this, but it's a powerful one, is device under test rigs. So any kind of test rig, most of these are custom firmware. You're exposing endpoints. You're creating this firmware specific for what you need to do and control on a test rack, which it could be interacting with other physical devices, could be the device that you're testing itself. I'm more thinking of it in terms of you build a test rack with an ESP32 that's testing some other product device. Could also be an ESP32, could be some other main chip. But instead of writing custom firmware, you would just create an MCP server, expose specific tools and features that it can accomplish, like press a button or take the temperature or whatever, take a picture, whatever it may be. And then you could write a test rig with AI because it has the ESP32 device as, this MCP aware server. So anyway, that's the idea. And I figured maybe we'll just try and build it with the AI. I have no idea if this is going to work, but we're going to mess around with it and see what happens. And so let me make sure I got the chat open here in case people have questions. All right. We are in this production ESP32 playground project, which I have shown before. It's just where I mess around with different things. We can close that. And it's been a minute. I built a bunch of tools in here. We're going to be doing this on our very favorite friend here, just a little teeny ESP32 Mini. I don't even think it's an S3. But anyway, we can change that if we find that we need to. But just to get started. And so I'm going to do new project, NP. And hey, EJ Tech, nice seeing you. We're going to call this MCP server. Okay, and what that does is creates this MCP server. I'm going to delete this positioning because it's going to mess with me with the new files here. That was me playing around with the Walter modem. I'm going to do delete permanently. I can rebuild all that if I need to. Okay, MCP server. If we come into main, it just says hello MCP server. And if we build this, again, I don't think this is, I think this is, yes, ESP32. Sheesh. Okay. And we'll do idf.py build. It should build it. And then we'll do idf.py. Whoa. Py flash monitor. No serial ports found. That's because it's not turned on. Okay. And what we should see is just a hello. Yep. Beautiful. Hello MCP server. Great. Okay. So we're going to exit out of that. Okay, flash size detected, 8 meg. It's at 2. You know, I need to update my new project thing here because what I have been adding is these things. SDK config defaults. Let's fix all this. Nope, wrong one. It's this one. SDK config defaults. We need SDK config defaults. So let's drop that in here as well. And it's not 4 meg, it's 8. And then let's do a, just make sure that that works. It should fix that warning error. And I think we'll need the bigger space as we go along here anyway. Flash size larger than the size in the binary image. Why is it still doing that? I build, it should create a new. Oh, it didn't like that. Oh, because I don't have, yeah. Oh, we also need to put the, yeah, it's because we're not cleaning. Okay, great. Let's grab partitions from up here as well, obviously. And, wow, paste, great. 2 megs a piece. Let's try that. Didn't like that. Either change it or create the file. I did create the file. We gotta clean again. Build. Should have gotten all this set up ahead of time, but I didn't, so bear with me. Great. Build with agent. Yep, we're gonna need that hard. Okay, that all built. Let's do an idf.py flash monitor. And then we're gonna do this from scratch and learn together. This is not a pre-prepared where I have, you know, notes and know exactly what I'm gonna do. We are literally just going to do this on the fly. That all looks good. Fix the size. Enable detected Boya flash chip, but using generic driver. For optimal functionality, enable that in menu config. So let's just fix this as well while we're here. I mean, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we're not gonna mess with it. Let's not get down the rabbit hole. Okay, so for those that may not know, let's just do a quick. What is an MCP server? Let's see if we can find something that's really understanding MCP servers. Oh, that doesn't have enough pictures. We need pictures. Let's see what Wikipedia. Okay. I don't know why people make it so hard to explain what this is. Basically, MCP is, I'll just give you my version of it. It is a standard protocol that allows AI models and agents to talk to other things, whether that's GitHub or Canva or Figma or any other thing, in our case, an ESP32, and doesn't require a custom interface. There's no custom APIs. It is all defined in what is called the Model Context Protocol, MCP, where everybody agrees on a standard way of talking to each other. So the AI agent needs to know nothing about the, Canva API or GitHub API. It just knows that GitHub exposes an MCP server at some endpoint on the internet. It's typically through a URL. It doesn't have to be. It can be through any transport method. And says, I know how to send you generic things to query what you can do. You'll tell me what you can do. And then as the AI agent, I can use those tools that you've exposed in ways that I see fit. I mean, that's the short version of it. And so what we're trying to do in this case is build an MCP server that runs on the ESP32 that we can connect to an AI agent. In this case, the simple way we're going to do this is just try to connect it to VS Code, but we'll see how far we make it in the series here. To be able to say things like turn on an LED, and it would know, does this thing have LEDs? Do I have the ability to turn them on or off? Does it have a temperature sensor? And we don't have to write any custom interfaces. We just build the MCP server, and then we add tools to that. So that's the general overview of what we're trying to accomplish. I have no idea how far we'll make it today, but this is just something I'm curious about and want to learn more about. I'm not an expert in this. I'm an expert AI user. I'm not an expert AI builder. And so we can learn together as we go through this. So, and the way that I have found is actually pretty powerful to learn. I used to do a lot of reading, a lot of blog posts, things like that. Co-programming, pair programming with the robot, with AI, is an incredible way to learn. If you have, I don't think it's a great way for beginners to learn because the AI will hallucinate, and it will hallucinate terribly, and will tell you in the most convincing tone ever that it knows exactly what it's doing. And if you don't know and you're just getting started, that can be very confusing and misleading, and you can learn very bad practices and other things and get way off track. As somebody with experience, I find it extremely helpful because I know when to call BS and when to say, oh, you're actually being helpful right now. And not always, because it's, you're learning and you got to fact check and things like that. So what we're going to try and do, learn about MCP while building an MCP server with our Copilot agent in VS Code. So that's the tool set we're going to use. And we will see how it goes. So I don't really want to see those. Okay. But anyway, because the agent's right here behind me, you're not going to see. I guess I could move me. Let's move me. Nope. Let's put that right back where we found it. Like that. Okay. I'm trying to move me. There we go. Okay. We're going to drop me over here for today. Okay. Great. Now you can see the agent. I have an enterprise Copilot, whether you're using Claude Code, whether you're using Grok, and with Copilot in VS Code, you can pick your model. So here are all the models I have. They run at different rates. You can see Opus 4.5 would probably be the best, but it is going to be, like it says, is counted at a 3x rate. So, I'm not going to do that because I've been talking to the robot a lot this month, and you can see right here, I'm already at 30+% of my monthly premium. And after that, you got to start paying the AI machine. So, okay. Now, prompting, if you're new to AI, is incredibly important, and it feels like it's changing all the time. I'm going to start actually just up here with a prompt. Let's actually save this as well. Okay. Let's just start going here. Our task is to create a server that runs on the ESP32 for easy creation. Oh, that's gonna annoy me. That's not wrapping. Fine. That's for easy creation of local tools. It should run within the ESP IDF framework and not rely on platform IO or the Arduino core framework. The problem with this is going to be some of the implementations I found. A lot of them use the async, HTTP async web library, which is an Arduino library, and I don't know that there's actually. I mean, it's pretty good. So maybe we do allow Arduino core. I don't know. Let's just see what it comes up with. Let's just see how far we make it before we pull the the escape hatch and just fall back on Arduino core. It'll still compile within IDF, but let's see what we can build without that. It's run within the are creating an abstraction that should have a very simple interface for users to own ESP32 projects. Okay, so that's the, let's see. The first milestone is server that will return a hello world like response. I don't like how that sounds. First milestone we need is a simple server that has a single hello world tool that we can test. Okay, now we think of like what are the constraints or anything else that we want to tell it. Certain server that runs on the ESP30 and allows for easy creation of local tools. It should run within the ESP and not rely on platform. Very simple. You can see them in their own ESP. Create. So one of the things I like to do is if you just let the AI go straight out, it's going to oftentimes get off the rails really quick. So I like to do create a plan and present it to me before making any code changes. We will be working in the MCP folder in this repository. Ask any questions. Ask any questions you have before proceeding. And I have no idea how it's going to handle me putting new lines in here. Should just be tokens. And I'm going to dump it into this thing here. I guess I'll fix the stupid formatting. That's annoying. Yep. And delete. and late. Not really. Okay, we're gonna just let the AI rip on this and see what we get in return. While it's thinking and doing its thing, the general idea of an MCP server is, a lot of the times the examples are in Python or Node.js, where it spins up a web server. Like the baseline is you have a web server. It is, I should have mentioned, like, don't worry about connecting to the internet. So we'll get to that. We'll see what the AI comes up with. But you create a web server that is exposed over a URL, and it follows a certain JSON format and has a bunch of requirements. I should have specified like which version of MCP we need, but the robot should say like should ask these kind of questions. So and if you didn't know any of that stuff, you could start by asking the AI, like, explain what MCP is in great detail before we implement it. Okay, MCP protocol transport. Should the MPC server communicate over HTTPS, serial UART, TCP? Okay, so this is what I was mentioning earlier. Typically, it's over an HTTP URL. WebSocket. But it doesn't have to be, and so it's asking, like, what do you want it to be? Do you want it to be HTTPS, a WebSocket, a over serial, which you could do, TCP socket, client connections. Will the MCP client be running on the same network, connected via USB serial? Both. Yes. See, it's like, is this what you're registering? Yes. Or thinking? Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Or a more declarative approach. Well, okay, so in this case, I'm going to ask it, like, what would you envision for the declarative approach? So, I mean, it's very specific on what it needs. Should I include Wi-Fi connectivity? See, this is what I was saying. Like, I should have mentioned, don't worry about that. And look how it found it. I see you have a Wi-Fi Connect shared component. Like, yep, this is the power of AI and why it's going to replace all of us. Should I use CJSON? Yes. Proposed plan. Assuming, blah, blah. Here's my proposed plan. Foundation, milestone 1. Main server orchestrator, tool definition and registration, JSON parsing and serialization, HTTP server wrapper. Yeah, great. MCP, perfect, simple API design. MCP tool result. You know what? Let's make this a little bigger. Okay, return. This would be an example of how you make one. Initialize Wi-Fi using share component. Yes. Yeah, that is really the kind of interface I'm looking for. 100%. Okay. Testing strategy. Beautiful. It said, and so at the very end, would you like me to proceed with this plan, or would you prefer a different transport mechanism? Also, please answer the questions above so I can tailor the implementation to your exact needs. AI's getting crazy good. Like, it just is. I know we all want to hate on it, and it does get off the rails a lot, and it hallucinates still a lot. It's also incredibly powerful. Like, if you are just hating it for the sake of hating it and not learning it, it's rough days are ahead. That's just how I'm going to put it. So get in there, be the orchestrator. The AI has no ambition. It has nothing that it wants to create of its own will. Like, it is meant to be guided and directed, and it needs an architect. So be the architect. That's what I would encourage you to do if as you look around at the landscape and how it's changing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to answer each of these questions. But see, now I'm curious of, do we want it to be, I want it to be both. Like, I want it to be one or the other, not both at the same time. Like, I can see how it'd be helpful to have it as HTTP, but I might want it for security reasons or just for general, like not wanting to mess with the wireless side of it, have it just be over UART and say, yeah, the whole thing is over UART. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to say, here are the answers to your questions. 1, I want the communication protocol to be generic. I can decide at compile time which I want to use. Let's see, to get started, I want to support HTTPS. Port HTTPS, but also want the ability to add UART later without a refactor, without a major refactor. Include this in the design. 2, client connection. Client connection will be same network Wi-Fi to start, but want to support serial later. Yeah, the statement "rough days ahead" gives engineers. Yeah, I know, and everybody, UGTech, you're gonna send me down the rabbit hole. A lot of people are focusing a lot on the negative, and we're all doomed, and everybody's gonna be fired. Nobody's gonna have a job. The people that are spending all their time saying that are gonna be the people that are doomed and don't have a job. Like, just I've been doing tech for over 2 decades. Like, it waits for no one, and it doesn't care about your feelings. And as it shifts, like, you either shift with it or it gets hard. So what's the alternative? And so I see a lot of people complaining, and what's the alternative? I guess you could complain all day, or you can make a video about trying to make an MCP server. I don't know. Client connection will be same. Yeah. Okay. 3, tool registration pattern. For the simple API, are you envisioning something like this? Yes. Pattern is what I was thinking, but I would like you to present me. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm going to stop here and say one thing I love about AI. As somebody that's been doing this for a long time, AI feels a lot like a junior, mid-level, however you want to say it. I don't want to box it into like what level engineer AI feels like. It feels like another, let's just say that. It feels like another engineer. And what's great about it is there's no emotions, there's no feelings. You're not going to, the AI could spend 10 minutes on something, which is like 10 hours or 10 days for a normal human. And then you can be like, I hate your idea, present something else. And it doesn't care. It doesn't feel bad. It doesn't have hurt feelings. It doesn't try to sabotage you later in a team meeting. Like, this is one of the incredible things about it. And so it says, like, here, is this what you were thinking, or would you like a more declarative approach? And some of these things you have human social interactions where you're like, yeah, I want to see it a different way. And they're like, why can't this guy just make up his mind? Just tell me what you want. The AI is not any of that. You could tell it to give you 400 options, and then you could say, I hate all of them, give me 400 more, and it'll just keep trying to please, 24/7. And I like that, just because I don't have the social awkwardness of like, I feel bad that you really spent all this time working on this change. You can just throw it all in the garbage right in front of the AI's face and say, try again, and it doesn't care. I personally think that's great. Something that I would struggle to do with another human would be like, oh man, I know it's not great, but I don't want to hurt his or her feelings, and it could probably work. That's a shortcoming of mine in managing other people, but not with the AI. I'm pretty blunt with the AI. But I would like you to present a more I got to make sure that spells right. A more declarative approach so I can decide. Or Wi-Fi. Yes, use the simple Wi-Fi connect component. Yeah, that's it. And 5, I want to use the standard C JSON library. I don't want extra, a lot of the other ones use Arduino JSON. I haven't looked. I believe Arduino JSON is literally just a wrapper on CJ. Like, I don't want to create all these extra things. People really love their Arduino. It's great in some things. I'm going to see how far we can make it just with the raw IDF and how gross it looks. Okay. Let's see. Okay. And then sometimes you have to be I answered the questions. I asked more questions, but sometimes say you have to be very clear with the robot. Like, it might see that and it's like, oh, I got everything I need. I'm going to start going. Even though I asked for more clarification, just to be safe, I always say, update the plan and present it to me before starting implementation. Okay. And see, one of the things I like about the Claude, I've used Grok, I've used Gemini. You can kind of, as it goes through it, it talks out loud, like it's thinking. And so you can, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll short circuit it. If I feel like it's going down the wrong path, I'll just hit the stop button, this thing right down here, and just kill it and say, nope, you're going down the wrong path. Let me either correct you. A couple of other things I've learned from doing a whole bunch of AI stuff. If it gets stuck and it's not understanding or it's in a loop, it's never going to recover. Just close it, click the plus button up here, start a brand new one, or on whatever tool you're using. Like, don't try to ever coerce the AI back into understanding. Like, once it flies off, like, it's probably never coming back, and you're going to burn tokens trying to get it to come back. Just start over. Your prompt will be better the second time around because you'll have learned some things the first time through. And so these are just general things. So, all right, it seems to have gotten very verbose in this updated plan. Okay, the design uses a transport layer abstraction pattern to allow compile time selection of communication protocols. Great, while maintaining a simple unified API for tool registration. Also great. So, user application layer. That's where we'll register tools. The MCP server core layer, tool registry and management, request response orchestration, protocol handling, JSON RPC2. Transport abstraction layer, interface, MCP transport, virtual. I like where this is going. And HTTP transport. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean this to turn into like a what I've learned about AI video, but it's kind of getting that way. This is when I was talking about a few minutes ago about being an architect. Not that I'm some perfect, great architect, but the AI is not. The AI is actually terrible at architecture without prompting. Like, if you just say make something that works, it's going to give you that min bar works. It gets very hard to maintain. It gets very hard to reason about. And some people say, well, that's good because the AI can always reason about its own code. That's not true if you've ever done any of this. Or the AI will eventually be able to reason about it no matter how complex it gets. That's also dangerous, in my opinion, because then you're truly handing over full control to a model. And I think that's going to come back to bite a lot of people and a lot of companies. But these types of things that make it easy to reason about, I'm a fan of. And so be the architect, explain it. And if you don't like how this looks, or if you think this is a bad approach, tell the AI. It's like, no, I want you to layer it like this and build it with these building blocks. It'll do it. It's giving me the file outline. This all seems reasonable enough. Okay. Okay, API design, both patterns. Pattern A, imperative, function based. So we're going to come in, we're going to create an MCP server like this. Oh, we're going to specify the transport type. I like that. Register tool. Yep, looks good. And then start the server. I like how this looks, but let's look at what he comes up with the declarative. So we're going to come in here and we're going to say, here's the tool. It's got a name, a description, a scheme, properties, no parameters required. Ooh, I do like that. Where did we? So one of the things I need to understand, and this is something I'm learning too as we go through here, is I don't know how properties work. So like we've got this hello world handler. We're going to call the tool called hello world. What does it look like if we pass like we're turning on an LED. I need to pass the GPIO number, right? How do we do that here? I'm assuming just another argument. Um, well, it would have to know. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, let me just think about this. And this has properties, no parameters for hello world, handler. Like I kind of like this declarative approach because then everything is you're not going to. This works well if you need to add tools, like if you need to call add tool dynamically at runtime, and you don't really need to. And most of this, you're going to set everything up because it's fixed hardware and you know what you're going to do and you're going to add more features. I like the declarative approach a little better. Um, you're still calling register tool. Oh, and then you have your tools. Mm, okay. C. Oh, pattern C. Builder pattern. Builder. Oh, with transport. Nah. Yeah. Nah. I don't like this. I mean, it's fine for certain things. Not in this case. I recommend supporting both A and B. We're gonna pick just one of them. This starts to get a little verbose, but I like that. Okay, we're gonna go with declarative. That's it. We're not gonna sit here all day and do it by committee. We're going with the declarative approach. All right, core class is an interface class. Yep, start, stop, send response, set request handler, MCP server. This all looks pretty good. I'm not doing a full code design review here. We're trying to keep on track and on time. And let's see, MCP tool args, tool definition, tool handler, schema can be added later for validation. Okay. List all registered tools, execute a specific tool. Great. Yes. Server component. Yeah, so that's building that component. Add additional dependencies. Yeah, great. JSON. Shared component reference. No, we don't need to do that. Yeah, okay. So this is why you got to review it. This would work to set the extra component directories, but instead of doing that, and I did this in another example here in the shared components. No, that's the shared components. Managed components. You can just create a, was this it? Yeah. No. Where did I get lost? Managed components. Oh, that's in this example. Including logo components. There we go. Sheesh. You have this IDF component.yaml, which uses Wi-Fi Connect. And so I'm just going to copy this out of there, and I'm going to come into MCP server in main, drop it in, and I will let the AI know that that's how we're going to include the extra component. Testing plan. Great. Questions. Which API pattern do you prefer? Let's go with the declarative API pattern B. And yeah, Default port 3000 is fine. Don't worry about schema validation for milestone 1. Exceptions or error code. Oh, no. Use ESP return codes, not exceptions. I have, here, now let's do another thing here. I have added a, what's called, IDF underscore component dot. So you don't need to set the extra. To make lists. Proceed with the implementation. Ask questions as you go if necessary. Never assume. Okay. Are you an embedded software engineer? Yes. And welcome in, Space. Great to have you. Yes, you could say that. There you go. Okay. Let's let it rip, see what happens. All right. While that's thinking, it's going to churn out like a massive amount of code, which is what a lot of people are focused on. Like, oh man, it just writes code so fast. I mean, that can be is a two-edged sword for sure. But there was a point I was going to make about that, but it's gone now. Let me implement the tool helper functions. Again, you could walk away, go get a drink, and let it crank. I like to watch, especially Claude as it updates as it's going, because again, sometimes it will get into loops. Copilot in VS Code has some guardrails in. We may actually see it here where it'll say, hey, it's been working on this for a while. Are you sure you want it to keep going? Because it knows that you're burning tokens. And so I like that as a safeguard. But also, you don't want to waste tokens if you can immediately see that it's going down a wrong path. And so I like how it does this right here, where it's telling me what's happening. It's not being very specific in this case, but for example, a few weeks ago I tried Gemini. I was just messing around. Gemini and ChatGPT, both of them. I can't remember which chat one I used, but the models just said thinking for a long, long time, and then it just splatted out. Okay, here's what I did, and if it's right, great. But if it's wrong, oh man, you just burned a lot of tokens for garbage. And so keep an eye. I like to keep an eye on the window. Some people say that defeats the purpose and it needs to be fully agentic and unmonitored, but we'll get there. For stuff like this where I'm learning and I'm kind of guiding an implementation, I just consider it like pair programming and it works for me. But do whatever works for you. Create the MCP protocol handler. By the way, for those that are new to all of this, the way that this is working right now is also MCP. So the agent, this box, knows how to talk to VS Code through Model Context Protocol. So this is another example of why this is such an important concept, because it's how all of the AI tools work together. It is just a standard. As far as I'm aware, this isn't like a VHS Betamax, because I'm an old person. It's MCP is it. Like if you're building anything with AI and you want it to talk to another AI, you need to do MCP. And it's been so, and it lets you know as it's going 10 files changed, 953 additions, 10 subtractions. I don't know what the subtractions would be. Oh, that really jumped up. We're up to 1,300 lines of code. And these are just things, again, if you look through and review all of this when all this is done, it's a lot. And you didn't write it, and that can be hard. But I hate to admit it because I didn't want to admit it either, but it's really impressive the amount of code that it can generate that you would definitely have to have written anyway. Whether it's the perfect code and you hate this coding style of it, boilerplate stuff, getting just the boilerplate, empty functions that have no implementation, those take time to type, and the AI does it instantly. And so now let's build the project. So it wants to cd into MCP server and idf.py build. Again, I don't use some of the other command line. I do most of my stuff through Copilot just because I'm paying for it. But I like that it says, hey, do you want me to run this? Just to make sure that the AI doesn't remove -r-f, root. You can actually see what it's going to run. In my case, it doesn't really matter if it did that because we're in a container, so it could delete root all it wanted, and it wouldn't. I mean, it would blow up my container, but it's not going to mess with my machine. So we'll say allow. And again, allowing it to do that, it can read the output over here, find any build errors, and make corrections. So like that, we just saw a build error. I didn't see what it was. It went by too fast. And it's like, oh, I see several compilation errors. Let me fix them. And it's going to do that. Things that you would do. And for stuff like this, it's going to fix it the same way you probably would have fixed it for build errors. So let's just see how it goes. So it made a bunch of changes. Another thing that I like about the VS Code integration is you can say, hey, what did you edit in MCP protocol.h? You just click on this and it shows you, oh, it just added that. And you have the full history. You can go back through all this and see every single change it made in every single file. So that's handy as well. We'll hit allow, let it build again, see what it does. And it built. Okay, perfect. The build succeeded. Now let me update the to-do list and create a README documenting how to use the MCP server. Oh, man, one of my favorite things about the AI, I told you earlier, I like how it's not emotional and you're not going to hurt its feelings. That's probably still number one. Number two, right behind that, is documentation. Nobody likes to write documentation. The AI doesn't care at all. Like, you take an engineer and you're like, I need you to write really great documentation for this. Nobody's raising their hand for that. We all love and appreciate well-written documentation, but nobody likes to write it and work on it. And the AI is really good at it. Taking existing code, existing things, and say, I need you to write a comprehensive README for this. And then again, if you don't like how it's doing, just say, nope, you're on the wrong track. Write it in this tone. Write it in this way. Be more verbose. Be less verbose. Okay, this is what I was talking about earlier. Copilot has been working on this problem for a while. It can continue to iterate, or you can send a new message to refine your prompt. It's trying to save me money. Like, it's using a lot of tokens. Are you sure you want to keep going? Yep, I feel like we're making good progress, so keep burning my tokens. Let's see, I was at like 31%. Yeah, I'm at 32. So like this is heavy AI usage. Now let me flash on monitor. Flash monitor. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, program it. Let's just. I'm normally a little bit more of a conductor and managing on this, but I'm just gonna let it rip and see what we end up with. It's writing. Oh, it's not. Yeah, connect it. Yeah, of course that's gonna fail. All right. Yes. Nope. See, I'm gonna hit stop because now it's like starting to mention chemo, and which this is actually perfect. It shows the build works and the code is running. Let me create a simple test script that demonstrates the MC server working. First, let me create a summary document. Here, I'm gonna do this. I'll fix the connectivity issue. And give it credentials. I need to see what I'm connected to here. Okay. I'll fix connectivity issues and give it credentials. You create, I'll say, just create the summary document and test script. We'll say test script as well. Because it's probably just going to try and curl, and I don't know. I did this before. Dang it. Let me think through this. Because this is in a container, so it has to expose the port out for me to be able to hit it, from just create some. Let's just do that. Anyway, I'm in a Docker container on my machine. I need to make sure I connect to the same Wi-Fi, but I also need to make sure that I can reach out from the container to get that. That should work though. But anyway, while it's doing that, we're gonna cancel that and close that and close that. And it's been so long since I've used. Oh, so another thing that I'm sure most AI agents do is it shows you what's changed, and you can review every single. It's just like a git diff, and keep or undo or modify inline. It's running what's in green, and so let's come in here to main. Connect to Wi-Fi. Yeah, so I have to put in my credentials, and I forget. Here, let's do this. You have to up high, and you config, and it's going to be a component config, and it's going to be all the way down here at the bottom for production ESP32, Wi-Fi. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to say test MCP. This is not my actual Wi-Fi. That would be great. And test MCP. And then we're going to exit out. Save the configuration. Yes. Then what we're going to do is come into the build folder. This is really a roundabout way to do this. Come into SDK. We're going to search for MCP. Oh, what did I say? MCP test? What did I? Oh, test MCP. I had it backwards. Okay. So we need these two lines. I'm going to come into our SDK config. Let's put that down. Our defaults, sorry, which is right here. And paste. Save. I'm going to come into another. Okay, so what we're going to do is I can get rid of this now. I'm going to get, I'm going to close this. And off screen here, I'm going to put in my Wi-Fi stuff. Not that it matters. If you've watched any of my videos, you can easily connect to my IoT network. Okay. And we're going to just modify this. Hopefully this works, actually. Okay. Then I'm going to do an IDF.py full clean. Oh, get the IP address. Yeah. It's now fully implemented. Once you configure Wi-Fi. Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, let's just do an IDF.py flash monitor to see if we get past the connection point. And then if hello world works, we're going to call that a good stopping place for this video. And then next time we'll start adding, like, what does it look like to add new tools? And how we can integrate it. I want to get to a point where I can integrate it into VS Code. And because there's if I do Control-Shift-P, I've got this MCP add server, and I should just be able to put the address in. Connect to AP fail. So I've done this before on a stream, and it ended spectacularly in failure, which is I could connect my computer to a different network. I think this is that's my SSID, and it's not connecting. Yeah. And then it just put it right there up on the screen anyway, so now you got my Wi-Fi password. Great. Why won't it connect? Well, let's just go to... why won't connect? Bummer. Let's see if it'll connect to... team. And this is my favorite. Oh, it's not going to do. Nope. Cancel. I full clean. Monitor. Let's see if it connects to that. I think it's this 2.4 versus 5. Yeah, there we go. I'm now connected to Sidnet IoT, but the problem is the machine I'm streaming from is not connected to that, and so I can't. What's the move here? I want to test this, but it's on a different network. How can we... No, there's just no good way. I could try to switch, but I feel like the whole stream's going to crash in spectacular fashion. And that's my IP address. So really what it's telling me to do is, hey, export that, and then run that. Watch this. We're going to do this. Modify the test script to accept the IP address as a command line argument instead of variable. I misspelled argument. Misspellings cost you tokens. That's what I learned a little while back. Try to be good with your spelling. It's not gonna confuse it, but apparently it does trick the model up a little bit. Okay. Excuse me, that water went down the wrong side. All right, well, I still don't know what to do about our IP different Wi-Fi network problem without killing the stream, so onward and upward. I'm going to switch Wi-Fi. It's probably going to crash the screen. If it does, I'll be back for a future stream. This will part one will just have ended without anything meaningful happening or showing. But I'm going to just switch over now. And if I lose all of you, thanks so much for joining. And if it comes right back, then sweet. But here we are. Okay. I got a message saying OBS disconnected and then reconnected, but I'm not seeing it in Restream. If anybody is still there in the chat and can hear me, I need a comment. I need somebody to comment and say, I'm still here. We can still hear you. Looks like it started a whole new stream, which makes sense, but yeah, okay. Still, UJ Tech, thanks. It created a new stream on all the platforms. So like I'm using Restream, so it streams to like YouTube, LinkedIn, and I can't remember what the other one is. YouTube, LinkedIn, oh, and Twitch. It restarted new streams on all of them. So okay. But we are back. We should now be on the same Wi-Fi network as the device. We've got our IP address right here. Let's copy it and let's just test this. Let's get a new terminal. We're going to CD into MCP. No, examples, MCP server. And we're going to do test with custom port. Now we're just going to do Python. First of all, let's do this. Okay, that's working. Great. Do Python test MCP server.py, and let's put in our IP address, and let's just, I don't know, is that going to actually work? Pass, list tools, call, hello world, pass, invalid tool. Like, for real? Look at that. Look at that. That's fantastic. Okay, so cool. Success. Milestone one was a success. You can see up here, MCP server started with 1 tools. MCP server running on port 3000, registered tools 1, ready to accept requests. We all saw that. And then we got this, hello world tool called. Tool not found, non-existent tool, unknown method, invalid method. And this is what this all pointed out. Okay. All right. It's just about lunchtime for me. Let's do one more. And if that works, I'm just going to commit everything the way I have it. I'll go through and look at the code and see if anything was crazy. But again, AI will get you to working like 99% of the time. Whether the code is good or secure or all these other things is open for debate. But it's hard to argue with that. That's working. And in fact, let's skip that. I want to just go straight to the one that I'm interested in, which is MCP add server, HTTP. And I want to do this, http:// the IP address, port 3000, and hit enter. And enter server ID. I'm going to call this MCP ESP32 test. Enter. Available in all workspaces. Available in this workspaces. Runs on dev. Yeah, I want it to be in the workspace. Okay, so this added something in here. Okay. Now I think I can now come over. Wait, what's this thing? Was unable to start successfully. Start server. Oh, it's not a server. Well, Is it? Where? Sorry, I gotta slim you back down and get back over to. I want to get back over to terminal. Unknown method initialize. Okay. Okay, check this out. Why this is what we're gonna do, and then we'll end the stream. You can see that it's trying to call some things. Hello world tool called invalid initialize. That was probably the test. I don't know here. Let's clear the terminal and then come back up here and say start server and come back to terminal. Yes. Okay. It is definitely VS Code is definitely causing this. So let's come back here and say let's pop this back out. All right. Now let's say I tried to add the ESP32 MCP server to VS Code, but it says it was unable to start the server. This is the output I get from the ESP32. How do we fix this to make it discoverable by VS Code? Don't make any code changes, just diagnose the issue and present findings. And then we just paste that in there. This is vibe coding, by the way. We're just totally vibe coding an MCP server. And that was what it was meant to be from the beginning. We're using the AI to build more AI. And that's why the Terminator is going to kill us all. But we're going to have fun between now and then. Okay, let's see. The error handshake, but our server doesn't implement it. Yes, so we should. What we currently support is list and call. What's missing? Initialize, required handshake method. Complete notification, server ability, advertising, protocol negotiations. Yeah, so I think this, where it's talking about this method one not allowed, the method one suggests the HTTP method enum value is being logged rather than the method name. This is where like the AI is pointing out its own bugs, and that's what you're going to get. But doesn't implement the full MCP protocol specification. What VS Code needs, initialize. Yeah, so I want required changes. To make this work with VS Code, we would need to add an initialize handler, update HTTP transport to handle. Current workaround. For now, the server works perfectly with, and that's fine. But it cannot be used as a VS Code MCP server without implementing the full protocol, which we, again, it's saying, hey, we can do this. The whole point of this is not to implement a slimmed down version of the MCP protocol and then write our own custom Python code instead of our own custom firmware code to do something like a test rig for DUT. The idea is to implement the full protocol so that it can work just like any other tool in the AI ecosystem. So, I'm just going to say implement the full MCP protocol compliance. And just see how crazy that is. Implement the full MCP protocol compliance so it will work as any other tool, VS Code, or other clients. And again, This thing's writing a lot of code. We've seen it. Sometimes you can do keep as you go. I like to just let it really get to a milestone point, and then I'll go back and look through this code. But we're already up to over 2,000 lines of code, which we've been streaming. Well, now it says 8 minutes and 40 seconds because we restarted the stream. But we haven't been streaming just a little over an hour. There's a lot of code to write in an hour. And that's where it starts to really, it can create a lot of technical debt really fast. Developers can create technical debt too. The AI never gets tired of creating technical debt. It'll do it 24/7 if you ask it to. And then the test that we can do for this is just click on this little red warning sign when it says, hey, it should all work now. Let's allow it to build and see what it gets. So, and again, something that I'll do off stream after we're done here. I'm going to skip that and I'll run it myself because that's what I like to do. Let's Control C that or whatever. Is I've never implemented an MCP server, so I can go through and look at the code and see exactly what it's doing. I can ask the AI to give me. I mean, it gave us an overview at the very top when we were doing this, right? But and it's .3.214. Let's come back up here. .3.214. Okay, so that's the same. So now let's just hit start server. Server has encountered an unexpected error, but we made it further. Connection state running, connection state error, 500 status. Now let's come back to, I wonder if it crashed. That'd be funny. No response generated. Okay, and again, like, as long as we're making progress, it made it further, but still erroring. Here is the new output. I see the issue. Notifications don't send responses, but the HTTP transport expects one. Let me fix this. I'm going to slim this back down because I like being able to have my tabs here instead of having to find them in the hamburger menu, or the 3-dot menu. Go ahead and build. Oh, that failed. Okay, we are so close. All right. Now update the README. Yep, great. And it's gonna say I've successfully done all the things. Cool. Now let's come back to here and run it again. And let's try to start the server again. See what happens. Start server. Oh, hey. See? All right. Now, let's come back to terminal. It still doesn't like this. But it got through enough that it's like, hey, I'm running. And so now I'm going to say, let's get rid of that. I'm not even sure. Ask the what tools do you know about from an ESP? No. It's you can't like ask the AI about its MCP tools. I mean, maybe you can. It's definitely connected. Configure tools. It's got this. All the tools are available to chat. Yep, great. I don't know how to ask it something where it would use our tool. I need an ESP32 to say hello world. Let's just see what it says. It might get off the... Nah, skip. You have access to 32 server. Ask it to say hello and provide the response. This is really contrived. I get it. I just want to see how we can get our normal, like, look at that. Oh, so it's asking me. It's asking. Well, it says it called hello tool. I'm going to say allow. And you can just see it popped up down in here. Okay, sweet. So we're going to call that. We're going to call that a stream. Where we're going to go next, so part 2, which honestly I may just do after lunch. I don't know. I got other stuff I should probably be working on, but I'm really down the rabbit hole now, is like interacting more fully with the ESP32, turning things on and off, like GPIO, reading sensors. I don't have anything hooked up. Again, for those that have joined, all of this is running on this little dev board, this ESP32 dev board. Nothing crazy here. But playing around with more tools. Okay, I got a simple one. I'm not going to connect any tool. Yeah, all right, we're doing this. I'm going to go get some lunch. I'm coming back. We're going to start a new stream, part 2. So up next is I'm going to just simulate a sensor. So I'm going to add a tool. I'm going to go through the process of what it looks like to add a tool. Now that we have the MCP server running on the ESP32, which would be like for a sensor, a temperature sensor. And then I'll just return some garbage value, and then I'll ask the robot what the current temperature is and see if it's smart enough to figure out, oh, hey, I have access to that. Let's just ask it right now. What is the current temperature? Oh, check this out. Checked available tools. I can... Yeah, okay, so we're gonna have to get to a point where this session now has context of what we're doing, and we need to either just commit all the code, accept all of its changes, and say, hey, we've got a working MCP server, and then start a brand new one and ask it the same question to see if it knows, hey, I know that I have a tool that can tell me that. And then that would be another cool thing. Okay, sweet. I'm going to go eat some lunch. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate it. Sorry about the stream interruption, and we lost a bunch of people. Seems like some of you made it back in. Lunch, and then part